rescue, emergencies, contact. He reaches out in 10 minutes. What if the silence you've been focusing on is not the whole story? What if, at this very moment, unseen changes are already taking place beneath the surface? Today is not about forcing someone to text you or trying to control another person's choices. It is about transforming the one place where lasting change begins, your own inner world. The moment you stop identifying with rejection, delay, or uncertainty, and begin identifying with being loved, valued, and remembered, everything about your experience starts to shift. Your thoughts become calmer, your emotions become steadier, your expectations become stronger than your fears. From that place, you naturally become more open to meaningful communication and healthy relationships. For the next few minutes, set aside every doubt, every old story, and every reason you've been telling yourself that contact cannot happen. Instead, imagine the feeling of seeing your phone light up. Picture yourself smiling as you read a message that fills your heart with peace rather than anxiety. Feel the relief, excitement, and confidence as though the connection you desire is already unfolding in the best possible way. Whether that communication arrives today, tomorrow, or later, allow yourself to experience the certainty of someone who no longer questions their worth. The phrase 10 minutes is not a guarantee of a countdown. It is an invitation to expect positive change instead of expecting disappointment. This is your moment to release fear and choose faith in a better outcome. You are not here to chase love. You are here to become the version of yourself who naturally attracts honest communication, mutual respect, and genuine affection. The outer world often reflects the assumptions we consistently return to, so choose thoughts that support the future you truly want. Stay present. Stay hopeful. Stay grounded in the feeling that you are worthy of healthy, loving connection. If you're ready to leave behind the old story of waiting and step into a new story of confidence, possibility, and inner peace, then take a deep breath, quiet your mind, and let's begin this journey together. Contact begins within your inner reality. Every meaningful transformation begins in the unseen world of your thoughts before it is reflected in your external experiences. When it comes to a specific person, many people spend their days watching their phone, checking notifications, replaying old conversations, and wondering why contact has not happened yet. The more attention you give to silence, the more powerful that silence feels. But there is another way to approach the situation, one that starts by changing your inner perspective instead of obsessing over outer circumstances. Your mind is constantly telling us a story, and that story influences your emotions, your confidence, and the way you interpret everything around you. If your inner dialogue says, "He has forgotten about me," "He is never coming back," or "I always get ignored," then every passing hour feels like evidence that those beliefs are true. However, when you intentionally replace those thoughts with a new story, such as, "I am remembered, I am appreciated, healthy communication flows naturally into my life, and I deserve honest and loving connections," you begin changing the emotional atmosphere you live in. The greatest shift is not convincing someone else to contact you. It is convincing yourself that you are already worthy of love, respect, and meaningful communication. Once your attention moves away from fear and toward confidence, your entire energy changes. You become calmer instead of anxious, hopeful instead of discouraged, and emotionally steady instead of reactive. This inner peace allows you to enjoy your day rather than measuring your happiness by whether your phone lights up. Imagine for a moment hearing your notification sound and seeing the message you've been hoping for. Notice the relief, the smile, and the excitement you would naturally feel. Instead of treating that as a distant fantasy, allow yourself to become familiar with that feeling now. Carry the emotional experience of confidence without needing immediate proof. This is not about pretending reality does not exist. It is about refusing to let temporary silence define your identity or your future. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, genuine communication, and emotional maturity. And one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is learning to remain emotionally secure, regardless of the circumstances unfolding around you. When you stop defining yourself by delay, you create room for peace. When you stop assuming rejection, you make space for hope. When you stop repeating painful stories from the past, you allow yourself to imagine a future that is no longer limited by yesterday's disappointments. The phrase, "he reaches out in 10 minutes," serves as a powerful reminder to expect positive possibilities instead of automatically expecting disappointment. Rather than counting down the clock with anxiety, use those moments to strengthen your confidence, express gratitude for the love already present in your life, and remind yourself that your value has never depended on another person's immediate response. Every healthy connection begins with a healthy relationship with yourself. As your confidence grows, your words become kinder, your reactions become wiser, and your expectations become healthier. Whether the message arrives sooner than expected or takes more time, you remain the same valuable, complete, and deserving person. You are no longer living from fear, you are living from hope. You are no longer waiting for someone else to decide your worth, you already know it. And from that place of inner certainty, you become more open to authentic conversations, genuine reconciliation, where appropriate, and relationships built on honesty, care, and mutual choice. Let this moment mark the beginning of a new inner story, one where your peace is stronger than your doubts, your confidence is greater than your fears, and your heart remains open to healthy love without surrendering its stability to uncertainty. That is where real transformation begins, and it starts within you long before it is ever reflected in the world around you. Replace urgency with complete. Sir, the greatest obstacle to the connection you desire is often not the silence itself, but the fear that grows during the silence. When every minute feels like proof that nothing is happening, your mind naturally begins creating stories filled with doubt, impatience, and disappointment. You may find yourself checking your phone repeatedly, analyzing every past conversation, or imagining countless reasons why your specific person has not reached out. These habits can drain your peace because they keep your attention fixed on what you believe is missing instead of what you hope to experience. The real transformation begins when you replace urgency with complete certainty. Certainty is not loud, desperate, or frantic. It is calm, grounded, and confident. It does not demand immediate evidence before believing in a positive outcome. Instead, it chooses to remain hopeful and emotionally balanced, even when the future has not yet unfolded. Imagine how different your day would feel if, instead of constantly wondering, "When will he text me?" you quietly believed, "Whatever happens, I know I deserve honest communication and healthy love." That single shift changes your emotional state. Rather than reacting to every moment of silence, you become someone who carries peace regardless of external circumstances. This mindset allows you to enjoy your life instead of placing it on hold while waiting for one notification. The phrase, "he reaches out in 10 minutes," can be understood as a reminder to expect good possibilities instead of expecting disappointment. It encourages you to move from fear to faith, from anxiety to confidence, and from emotional dependence to emotional stability. Instead of watching the clock with tension, use each passing minute to strengthen your inner dialogue. Tell yourself that you are worthy of respect, kindness, and genuine affection. Remind yourself that your value does not rise or fall depending on whether someone contacts you today or next week. Healthy confidence comes from knowing who you are, not from receiving constant reassurance from another person. As your confidence grows, you naturally communicate with greater patience, wisdom, and authenticity. You stop feeling the need to force conversations or chase responses because you trust that meaningful relationships develop through mutual interest and mutual choice. When your emotions become steady, you also become more prepared to receive communication in a healthy way. Instead of responding from fear, you respond from self-respect. Instead of allowing excitement to become desperation, you remain centered and thoughtful. This emotional maturity creates stronger foundations for any relationship, whether it is a renewed connection with someone from your past or the beginning of a new chapter altogether. Remember that every positive relationship benefits from honesty, understanding, and mutual effort. While you cannot control another person's decisions, You can control your own mindset, your reactions, and the way you treat yourself throughout the process. That is where your greatest strength lies. Each time doubt appears, gently replace it with a thought that supports your well-being. Each time fear tells you that nothing is changing, remind yourself that many important things happen quietly before they become visible. Growth often begins beneath the surface, just as confidence begins in the heart before it is reflected in daily life. Let your expectation be filled with hope rather than pressure. Let your confidence be stronger than your uncertainty. Whether communication comes sooner than expected or takes longer than you imagined, refuse to let fear write the story of your future. Choose peace over panic, confidence over confusion, and emotional stability over constant worry. When you become the kind of person who believes in your own worth without needing immediate proof, you free yourself from the exhausting cycle of anxious waiting. That inner certainty becomes a source of strength that stays with you no matter what happens next, allowing you to welcome healthy communication with an open heart and a peaceful mind whenever it arrives. Become the version of yourself who naturally receives. Love, the most powerful change you can ever make, is not trying to become unforgettable to someone else. It is becoming fully convinced that you are already worthy of genuine love, honest communication, and mutual respect. Many people unknowingly spend their energy trying to earn attention, prove their value, or convince someone to see what they have to offer. Over time, this can create exhaustion and self-doubt because your happiness becomes tied to another person's actions. A healthier and more empowering path begins when you shift your attention inward and ask yourself a different question. Who would I be if I already knew I was deeply valued? That question changes everything. Instead of living as someone who fears being forgotten, you begin living as someone who expects to be treated with kindness and appreciation. You walk with greater confidence, speak with more peace, and make decisions from a place of self-respect rather than fear of losing someone. This inner transformation is the true foundation of every healthy relationship because it allows you to show up as your best self instead of as the most anxious version of yourself. Imagine waking up each morning already feeling complete. Instead of reaching for your phone hoping to see a message, you begin your day with gratitude, purpose, and confidence. You smile because your joy is no longer controlled by a notification. You understand that while communication is meaningful, your worth has never depended on someone else's timing. This mindset does not make you distant or uncaring. Instead, it makes you emotionally strong. You become someone who welcomes love without desperately chasing it. You become someone who appreciates connection without making it the source of your identity. The phrase, "he reaches out in 10 minutes," becomes less about counting down every second and more about adopting an attitude of positive expectation. It reminds you to stay open to good possibilities without allowing urgency to take away your peace. As you embrace this perspective, your thoughts naturally become more encouraging. Instead of repeating stories of rejection, you begin telling yourself a new story. You remind yourself that you are worthy of healthy conversations, mutual affection, and relationships built on trust. You focus on becoming kinder to yourself, celebrating your strength, learning from your past, and creating a life that feels meaningful whether you are alone or sharing it with someone special. This kind of confidence is attractive because it is genuine. People are naturally drawn to those who radiate calmness, authenticity, and emotional security. They notice someone who listens well, communicates honestly, and respects both themselves and others. By investing in your own growth, you are not turning away from love. You are preparing yourself to receive it in a healthier way. Every positive habit you develop, every act of self-care you practice, and every encouraging thought you choose strengthens your belief that you deserve relationships filled with respect and understanding. Even if moments of doubt appear, you do not allow them to become permanent residents in your mind. You acknowledge them, learn from them, and then return your focus to hope. Remember that meaningful relationships are built by two people who freely choose to communicate, care for one another, and grow together. While you cannot control another person's decisions, You can become the kind of person who consistently brings patience, confidence, and compassion into every interaction. That is a transformation no one can take away from you. As you continue walking in this new identity, you begin noticing changes not only in the way you think, but also in the way you experience life. You become more grateful, more resilient, and more open to opportunities that once seemed impossible. Whether a message arrives sooner than expected or later than you imagined, your peace remains intact because you have discovered something far greater than certainty about another person's actions. You have discovered certainty about your own worth. From that place of confidence, every conversation becomes healthier, every connection becomes more meaningful, and every step forward is guided not by fear but by hope, wisdom, and the quiet assurance that you are already enough. Stop watching the clock, live. From the end, one of the biggest reasons people become emotionally exhausted while waiting for a specific person to reach out is because they begin measuring every passing minute as if time itself determines their happiness. They check their phone repeatedly, refresh their messages, replay old conversations, and convince themselves that if contact has not happened yet, then nothing is changing. This constant focus on the clock creates pressure, and pressure often steals the very peace you are trying to experience. Instead of allowing every minute to increase your anxiety, choose to let every minute strengthen your confidence. The phrase, "he reaches out in 10 minutes," is best understood as a reminder to adopt an attitude of hopeful expectation rather than as a guaranteed countdown. The deeper lesson is to mentally experience the joy of meaningful communication before you see evidence of it. Imagine that the conversation has already happened in the best possible way. Picture yourself smiling as you read a kind message. Feel the warmth of knowing that you are appreciated, respected, and remembered. Allow yourself to experience those positive emotions without demanding immediate proof from the outside world. When your inner life becomes filled with confidence instead of fear, you naturally begin living differently. You stop making decisions based on panic and start making decisions based on peace. You become more patient with yourself, kinder in your thoughts, and more grateful for the good things already present in your life. Living from the end means allowing your present attitude to reflect the future you hope to experience. If your desired future includes healthy communication, mutual respect, and genuine affection, then begin practicing those qualities within yourself today. Speak to yourself with kindness instead of criticism. Replace thoughts of rejection with reminders of your inherent worth. Choose hope over hopelessness whenever doubt tries to take control. This approach does not require ignoring reality or pretending challenges do not exist. Rather, it encourages you to avoid letting temporary circumstances become permanent beliefs about your future. Every healthy relationship grows through honesty, mutual effort, and respect, and those qualities begin with the way you treat yourself. When you are no longer consumed by watching the clock, you create room to enjoy your own life. You pursue your goals, strengthen your friendships, care for your well-being, and continue growing as a person. Ironically, the less your happiness depends on one specific outcome, the more emotionally free you become. Freedom replaces desperation. Confidence replaces insecurity. Gratitude replaces constant worry. If a message arrives, you receive it with excitement but also with emotional balance. If it takes longer than expected, you remain steady because your peace is rooted in something deeper than a notification. Every passing day becomes an opportunity to develop greater wisdom, resilience, and self-respect. You learn that true confidence is not built by controlling someone else's actions, but by mastering your own thoughts and responses. The healthiest relationships are formed by people who communicate because they genuinely want to, not because fear or pressure forces them to. By choosing patience and emotional stability, you prepare yourself for conversations that are more authentic and meaningful. Let every moment become a reminder that your future is not defined by today's silence. Your worth is not measured by times, missed calls, or unread messages. Your value has always existed independently of another person's choices. Continue believing in healthy possibilities while remaining grounded in reality. Stay open to communication, but do not put your life on hold waiting for it. Build a life that reflects confidence, joy, and purpose today. When you stop chasing every second on the clock and instead embrace the mindset of someone who already knows they are worthy of love and respect, you discover a lasting sense of peace. That inner peace becomes your greatest strength because it allows you to welcome whatever the future brings with hope, maturity, and unwavering confidence, knowing that genuine relationships are strengthened not by fear and urgency but by trust, patience, and mutual care. Trust the process and remain emotionally stable. As we reach the final message of this journey, remember one truth above all else. Your greatest strength is not found in controlling when someone reaches out. It is found in maintaining your peace regardless of the timing. Many people begin their journey with hope, but along the way they allow impatience to replace confidence. Every hour without a message becomes another reason to doubt themselves. Every unanswered thought becomes another excuse to believe the worst. But lasting confidence is built differently. It grows when you choose trust over fear, patience over panic, and emotional stability over constant emotional highs and lows. The title Last Emergency SP Contact, He Reaches Out in 10 Minutes, is a powerful invitation to shift your mindset from anxious waiting to positive expectation. Rather than seeing the next 10 minutes as a countdown that determines your happiness, see them as an opportunity to become the calmest, strongest, and most confident version of yourself. The greatest transformation happens when you stop allowing external circumstances to control your internal state. Instead of asking, "Why hasn't it happened yet?" begin asking, "How can I continue becoming someone who naturally experiences healthy, respectful, and genuine relationships?" That simple change in focus places your energy where it has always belonged, on your own growth and well-being. Trust does not mean pretending that disappointment never exists. It means believing that one moment of silence does not define your future. Life unfolds in ways we cannot always predict, and relationships often develop through honest communication, mutual choice, and personal growth. While you cannot control another person's decisions, you can control how you respond to uncertainty. Every time fear whispers that you are forgotten, answer it with the truth that your worth has never depended on another person's immediate attention. Every time impatience urges you to abandon hope, remind yourself that healthy confidence is steady, not rushed. Emotional stability allows you to respond wisely instead of reacting impulsively. It helps you communicate with kindness instead of frustration. It gives you the ability to protect your peace while remaining open to meaningful connection. Imagine receiving the message you have been hoping for. Think about how you would want to respond. Would you want to answer from a place of anxiety, where every word is driven by fear of losing the connection again? Or would you rather respond from confidence, gratitude, and emotional balance? The healthiest relationships are built by people who know their own value and who respect the value of others. They communicate honestly, listen carefully, and allow trust to grow naturally over time. By developing those qualities today, you prepare yourself not only for the possibility of renewed communication, but also for stronger and healthier relationships in every area of your life. Whether it is a specific person, a future partner, a close friend, or a family member, your emotional stability becomes one of your greatest gifts. As you move forward, let this experience remind you that your life is far bigger than a single notification. Continue pursuing your dreams, strengthening your character, caring for your health, and building a future filled with purpose. Celebrate your progress, even when it feels small. Appreciate the lessons that have made you wiser and more compassionate. Keep your heart open, but never allow fear to convince you that your happiness depends entirely on another person's actions. Hope and realism can exist together. You can look forward to meaningful communication while also accepting that every individual has their own choices and timeline. This balanced perspective protects your peace and allows you to approach every situation with maturity and confidence. So, as this message comes to a close, carry this truth with you every single day. You are worthy of love that is freely given, communication that is honest, and relationships that are built on mutual respect. Refuse to let temporary silence become a permanent belief about your future. Replace doubt with encouragement, fear with courage, and worry with gratitude. Continue expecting good things while remaining grounded, patient, and emotionally strong. Whether contact comes today